Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American culture. We're specifically going to talk about the take on 2025 materialists, starring Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal and Dakota Johnson. And we're going to talk about the take from Chelsea Fagan, and we're going to talk about the term "broke boy propaganda." All right, so I went to the theaters to watch this film, and I thought it was very interesting. It definitely had a lot to talk about modern romance in America, American romance, and why women choose which men. But I had never heard this term before, broke boy propaganda. All right, so let's dig into this. So first of all, I'm not a men's right advocate, but I definitely understand that this content may sound very pro male, and I think I get why women want rights, right? Like, actually, I don't think that men have lost any rights, right? Like, we still have the same rights we always did. And this isn't about getting more rights for men, or that men have lost any rights. But I do think we need to acknowledge that the world is fundamentally different for men in a pretty terrifying way, actually. So, what is that? We've built a culture in which men really, like, the chips are against them. Like, every aspect of our culture is betting against men and betting for women now. And women are cashing in, are raking in the chips, and men increasingly are getting very little, which I think is interesting at the macro level, not at the exception level, at the macro level, at the 51% bog standard American male, and at the 51% bog standard American female. Those American females are so far up. Basically, they're going to college. They're at a higher rate. They're graduating at a higher rate. And then they're coming out and they're just more successful. And whereas men are not going to college more, graduating at lower rates all the time, and have plummeted into a position where this term "death of despair" has come forward. So Chelsea Fagan does a review of The Materialist. By the way, there's spoilers for The Materialist in this. And that the crux of that movie was she has to choose between a billionaire who used some of his money to break both of his legs and then extend the bones of his legs to grow 6 inches. This is a known, actual, real surgery that some men get because our culture demands height, right? Like, if you're like if a 6'1" man says something stupid, every woman in the room is gonna, where we are right now, every woman in the room, actually the majority of the women in the room, are gonna listen very closely. If a 5'4" man says something brilliant, it's highly likely most women in the room will not even hear him or be willing to listen, right? And so this entire movie is that literally men are willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to break their own legs to gain 6 inches of height, which will guarantee attention from women, right? That's the entire point of this film, right? So I was like, oh, okay. So, and then at the end of the movie, she chooses this cater waiter, right, who is a struggling down on his luck actor over the billionaire. And you know what? Chelsea Fagan openly discussed if this was broke boy propaganda. And I was like, what is that? So I went on and I listened to like 10 reviews of The Materialist, and lots of women were talking about this. There's now a term, like, so we had to coin a term, right? For men are in such trouble today and are struggling so badly that we had to coin the term "death of despair." Death of despair does not apply to women; it only applies to men, right? And men die in America at massively higher rates than women of terrible, terrible causes, right? So what's interesting, and that's what the term "death of despair" had to be coined to do. What's fascinating, listen to this. So now, if you make a film where you're like, hey, you should choose the person you love, not the person who's rich, they have coined a term, and they call this now broke boy propaganda. What? Like, this is astounding. Like, we are in an age where this has become so strong that to even discuss poor men as a dating option is considered broke boy propaganda. Man, the hits just keep coming. Guys are having a really rough time today. And my point is, we need to be aware of it. We need to just watch carefully how we refer to men, what new terms we bring forward. And when we bring forward terms like this, we need to acknowledge that this is highly offensive to men, right? Like, I think you should be able to talk about, hey, some guys might not have money, but they might still be worth the dating, and that not be termed broke boy propaganda. It's astounding. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.